David Wygant, 10 Minutes of Reality, Jonathon Aslay joining me today. Man, I'll tell you, Jonathan, it's been quite some time. I was down in Manhattan Beach last Thursday night.
Oh, our stopping grounds, MB Post, where you went to the post office and I went to the restaurant.
You got it. You know, I went down there and I worked with a client. And I saw the Thursday night Manhattan Beach crowd.
Yeah.
You know, Thursday night Manhattan Beach crowd. There was a lot of, it was interesting, you know.
I think every city has a crowd in some way, shape, or form. There's Taco Tuesday crowds. There's, Transformational Thursday crowds. There's Let's Get Wasted on Saturday crowd.
I know, there really is. It's so funny. You're right. There's the Thursday happy hour crowd. Then there's the Thursday alcoholic crowd, the ones that are out after 10 o'clock at night. Then there's the Friday night early crowd. Then there's the Friday night party crowd. Then there's
Wait, how does this relate to the topic we're going to talk about?
It doesn't. So let's talk about the topic. All right. So instead of us talking about Manhattan Beach and the crowds and what crowd you fit into, okay, the illusion and dilemma of chemistry. Go ahead, man. What is that?
You want me to get started? Well, okay.
I want you to get started on that.
All right. So, let's start with the dilemma of chemistry, because how often have you gone on a date, or people go on a date, and the minute you meet someone, obviously we're talking about people who are meeting for the first time, and they meet for the first time, and the first thing they go is there's no chemistry, meaning there's no attraction. And I would venture to say that happens 7 or 8 or 9 out of 10 times.
Easily.
Yeah. So for every every date you have, if you've had 10 dates, you're lucky to have that sense of chemistry. So that's the dilemma. We want chemistry. And the illusion is that if you have strong chemistry with someone, if it's off the charts, if it's like taking off like a rocket ship, that's no guarantee for success, because a real relationship is built on compatibility with chemistry.
Okay, so but people look for chemistry, and it's funny. They become chemical addicts, and they're looking for, I think, and nowadays there's this illusion of instant chemistry. It's like you didn't feel it right away. It's like, you're 55 years old, you're 43 years old, you're 27 years old. You don't feel it right away. You're called an adult, People are showing up. You don't know what, you don't know what is going on. You don't know what is,
think back hundreds and hundreds of years ago. Your pool of dating might have been like 3 people. So, it's a whole different ball game. And whether there was chemistry or not, you had to make a choice, because that was part of your survival, was to be with someone. Now, because there's this perceived choice, that we have all these choices, all these options, that many people are looking for that singular kind of specialness, that chemistry. And they're bypassing a lot of good quality people in the process.
Well, they are bypassing a lot of people because they're looking for this magic wand. It's almost like there's a magic wand that comes over somebody. Ooh, you gotta go and have this incredible sexual urge and chemistry with somebody. And I always found that chemistry only makes you stupid in a way. It's like, if I think about who I've had some of the best sexual chemistry in the world with, they turned out to be the craziest fucking people I've ever been with, not emotionally stable. And then and then I found like people who I've had nice sexual chemistry with. It's like I wasn't thinking about the chemistry. And the thing is, I think when chemistry, Jonathan, people are talking about their sexual chemistry, but in reality, I think as we get older, it's the friendship chemistry that should really come first. It's like, can I hang with this person? Can I be with this person? Can I go shopping with this person? Can I lay in bed and watch TV with this person? Because you're not fucking 23 hours a day. You're connecting 23 hours a day. And maybe if you're above average in bed, maybe you're spending 25, 30 minutes every other day having sex. But most people are trying to get off on that 7-minute rush, you know, because that's the average amount of time people have sex. And I think the chemistry has to be about, are they my buddy? Do I like being with them?
So I talk about this in my private coaching practice to my clients. I talk about attraction is one level of chemistry. Then there's a separate level of chemistry, which is that sexual connection that you have with someone. Because you could have sexual connection with someone you're not attracted to. Those are two types of chemistry. The other two levels of chemistry I talk to my clients about includes what's called emotional chemistry and intellectual chemistry. Nowadays it's called sapiosexual, is that feeling an emotional connection with somebody, almost at that high friendship level. Can we communicate at the same love language? Are we talking each other's language? Are we feeling each other on an emotional level or an intellectual level? Because many people, I know someone like yourself, you're highly intelligent, high IQ. I suspect you're attracted to someone who has some depth, some intelligence. So there's those two combinations that are oftentimes missed when you're focused on those two other bookends, attraction-based chemistry or sexual-based chemistry.
Yeah, the attraction-based chemistry can get you into a lot of trouble. I mean, I know if I look at in my life, some of my worst relationships, you know, and there weren't many of them, but one of my worst relationships, I was unbelievably attracted to this person and I ignored what a narcissistic idiot they were. It's like I ignored, another person, I ignored their pill popping habits. I ignored, and it doesn't mean that they're not good people. They're just not my type, my person, right? But I ignored it because of the attraction, because they were hot and I was so turned on by their physicality that I allowed, and this is something that is no knock, but I always tell people all the time, you allow an idiot into your life.
So
Somebody who's not good for you,
okay.
on so many levels. And then you set yourself up for trouble.
So can I share with you what I share with my tribe about?
Yeah,
It's called
please.
the 4 pillars of partnership. The 4 pillars of partnership. So it includes attraction and or chemistry. So we're talking about that piece right now. The second is shared values. Do we share the same values in life? Because that's hugely important. And I don't want to elaborate too much on that. The second piece is blending lives, because the reality is 2 people could be dating, but if you can't eventually blend lives, you're not going to be able to achieve partnership. And the fourth and most important pillar, along with with these 3 others, is emotional intelligence. And that is oftentimes missed. And most people miss the heavy duty clues. I mean, when people talk about red flags, it's usually centered around emotional intelligence. And that is, do you take personal responsibility for your choices? Do your actions match your words? Are you a grown-up when it comes to, conflict? Those are the are you a victim or are you a victor? Those are the pieces of the puzzle that when you're seeking partnership or relationship, this is what I teach my clients, those 4 pillars to a successful partnership.
No, does your action meet those words is great. It's such a great one. Talk, 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 talk. That's what people do, and been coaching for 20 years. And I hear talk, 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 and I almost want to take my finger and throw it down my throat. It's like, do you just vomit words consistently? I mean, actions need to meet your words. I mean,
Yeah.
it's so important. And so many people spend so much time wasting listening to false promises. I see a lot of women always meet Mr. False Promise, where they talk about the chemistry that they have with this guy, but then the guy never backs up. And I always say, do you realize what he said to you? Do you realize what he conveyed to you? Do you realize what he brought to the table? Do you realize he said, but we have such chemistry?
No, I know, and chemistry, and so it is fair. So here, let's go back to the conversation, the dilemma and the illusion. So it's important to have chemistry. We recognize that. It's the second piece is to, recognize that when it's off the charts intense, it oftentimes you're not paying attention to those other pillars that I talk about. So for those listening, I highly recommend that you pay attention to chemistry is important, and then recognize those other pieces that are important to a successful relationship. And that's my rant.
No, I agree. That's a good rant, man. We always have good rants. We can always
Yeah.
talk for 20, 25 mintes,
Yeah.
you know, and how's your life otherwise, man? You dating anybody interesting right now?
You know what? It's interesting. I've been focused mostly on taking care of my elderly father.
Oh, wow.
And
How's that experience going for you? I mean, that must be an
that
interesting
is
experience, right?
very challenging because
Yeah.
I just realized that I've had to step into, my father has regressed to childhood, and
Yeah.
I've taken on the patriarch of my family because I have two siblings that are almost younger, you know, like emotionally younger than my own children. So, and my siblings are in their 50s. So, so I've taken on that patriarch role, and yet I recognize that it's another level of stepping up, stepping into, you know, that place that I can step into in a relationship. So everything is working for me. It's just part of the process of life.
I would love to bring you back on later this week and talk about that, because
I'd be happy to.
that's a really interesting experience, Jonathan, because I think a lot of people as they get older don't realize that their parents get younger in a very interesting way. You know, they're old and they're wise, but they become like little kids in other ways. They're feeble. They need to be taken
Yeah.
care of. So I think that would be an interesting, because that's also a process of letting go, because what comes next is, you know, eventually your father's going to leave and go somewhere else. And it's a beautiful healing time, whatever's left in your relationship that needs to be healed. So I'd love to bring you back later this week and talk about that, because I think that would be just an experience that a lot of people have, but don't cherish enough. I never got to cherish that because my parents died quickly and
Yeah.
fast. So I never got to experience the long goodbye.
I can tell you it's been a fascinating experience, you know, going from my father, who allowed me to be Peter Pan for a long time of my life. And
Well,
now
no, we're going to bring you. We're going to
okay,
bring.
I'll
you
talk
back.
about that later.
We'll bring you
Okay.
back. Where
All right.
where can people reach you?
They can reach me at jonathanaslay.com. I've got an amazing program called Midlife Love Mastery, where I teach you how to find love at midlife. So go to my website, join my membership, and I'll teach you how to fall in love after 40.
Beautiful. For the rest of you, David at davidwygant.com is how you can always reach me. 10-minute daily reality check coming back at you every single day.